All right, welcome. Today, we're going to dive deep into the world of AI agents, and I mean really deep. We're moving way beyond the simple chatbots that, we're all used to. We're going to explore how these tools are becoming like actual partners, partners that can create everything from viral social media content to full-on software applications.
But first, let's start with this. Just look at this number, $300,000. So what do you think that is? It's not some crazy funding round or a CEO's salary. Nope, it's actually a direct result of this new wave of AI we're talking about. That's right, one single YouTube channel with no person ever on screen, totally faceless, pulled in an estimated $300,000 in revenue. It's got almost 300,000 subscribers, over 100 million views, and all those complex visuals, the animations, all built with the help of AI agents. It's pretty wild.
And look, this isn't just for super complex YouTube videos. The exact same thing is happening all over social media. Creators are literally building entire systems to churn out high engagement content. Like those slick Instagram carousels. The game is completely changing, from hours and hours of manual design work to just minutes of smart prompting.
And that really gets to our first big idea here. We've got to start thinking about AI beyond that simple question and answer box. Today's agents, they aren't just librarians fetching information for you. They're becoming true creative partners, real development partners that can understand context, follow super complex instructions, and just go off and execute multi-step tasks all on their own.
So, what's behind all this? What's powering this massive shift? Well, to really see how it all works, let's take a look at one of the most advanced toolkits out there as an example, the Claude suite. And it's not just one tool, Think of it more like a collection of specialized AI engines, where each one is designed for a totally different kind of user and a different set of jobs. So you've kind of got two flavors here. On one side, you have Claude Chat. This is probably the interface you're most familiar with. It's getting way more capable, connecting to your files, learning these things called skills. But then, on the other side, you've got the power tools, and these are what we're really interested in. These are the vertical AI agents, the specialists. You've got one that can literally control your computer, browse files for you, and another one, this one's for the developers, that lives right in your command line terminal, ready to build entire apps from scratch. It's a whole different ballgame.
Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. I mean, how do you take a general tool like this and make it your perfect copilot? See, the real power isn't just in using these agents, it's in customizing them so they understand your specific projects, your unique workflows, and even your personal preferences.
And the secret to all this deep customization, it's tucked away in a hidden folder most people will never even see, the .claude folder. Now, there are actually two of them. One that lives in your project folder and holds all the rules for that specific project, and another one that's in your home directory, and that one acts like your personal playbook for everything you do. So inside your project's .claude folder is what is probably the most important file of all, CLAUDE.md. You should think of this thing as the air traffic control for your entire project. Seriously. Every single time you start a session, the AI reads this file first to understand your project's structure, maybe your specific coding style, and any special rules it absolutely needs to follow. It gives the project a permanent brain. And these customizations, they build on each other in layers. It's pretty smart. You start with the foundation, right? The core rules you set in your Claude.md file. Then, on top of that, you can add skills, which are basically automated routines that the AI can just trigger on its own. And for the really, really tough tasks, your main AI can even delegate the work by spinning up what are called sub-agents. These are specialist AIs that handle one very specific job and then just report the results back. And the control you have doesn't even stop there. You can create your own custom / commands to use as shortcuts for your most common workflows. You can set super detailed permissions to control exactly what the AI is and isn't allowed to do on your machine. Balancing speed with safety. And my favorite feature? Checkpoints. They automatically save snapshots of your work so you can just experiment freely. And if an idea doesn't work out, you just rewind. No harm, no foul. So, we've seen all the technical features. Now let's connect all this back to those amazing results we saw at the beginning. Let's talk about building an automated content factory. Okay, let's take that Instagram carousel workflow. You don't just give the agent a chunk of text. No. You start with a script, but then you layer on your brand guidelines, your colors, your fonts, your voice, everything. Then you point it to a folder of your custom visuals.
And the AI doesn't just, randomly slap them together. It analyzes the mood of both the text and the images to create a cohesive story. It'll pick high-energy visuals for the hook and maybe calmer ones for the explanation. It gets the purpose, not just the pixels. Now let's pivot back to that YouTube channel, because this is a totally different code-based workflow. Here, a developer is using Claude Code right inside their editor. They add a specific skill for making motion graphics. It's called remotion. Then, with just a single prompt describing the animation they want, Claude Code gets to work and writes the actual code to generate that complex visual. It's then ready to be rendered and just dropped right into a video. Amazing! So here's the crucial point, the real takeaway. We are moving away from just using an AI tool to actively building our own customized agents. And this next level of control is all made possible by something called an SDK, a software development kit, which is basically just a toolkit for developers to build their own stuff on top of a platform. Okay, so it's really, really important to get the difference here. A traditional client SDK, it's like getting just the engine of a car. Yeah, it's a powerful engine, the core AI model, but you have to build the chassis, the wheels, the steering, all of it. The memory, the ability to use tools, everything. It's a ton of work. But this new agent SDK, whoa, that's like getting a fully assembled car, ready to go right off the lot. It already knows how to read files, search the web, and run code. You just configure it and point it at a problem. And what this does is it simplifies things incredibly for developers. Now they can use just a few basic commands to manage their whole fleet of agents. Query kicks off a task, Run can trigger an agent to work in the cloud, List lets you check up on all your working agents, and Retrieve just pulls down the final results when a job is all done. It's like having a command center for your own personal AI workforce. And this leads to a pretty fascinating future for how we're all going to work. With this remote orchestration, you can give an agent some huge, complex, long-running task, close your laptop, and get on a flight. The agent will just spin itself up in the cloud, do all the work, and have the results ready and waiting for you when you land. The work is no longer tied to your local machine. So think about where we've been. We've gone from simple chatbots to these highly customizable agents that can create viral content, write production-ready code, and even manage themselves in the cloud. They are literally learning our personal workflows and executing on our most complex ideas. And this isn't just about making old tasks faster, right? It's about enabling entirely new ways of creating things. So I guess the only question left to ask is, what will you build next?